I wanted also to touch up on the general contractor because I remember you shared the story at the women's event about how people kind of discouraged you to do it because you were a woman. Oh,
Yes.
please share that story. Hey everyone, this is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion, and we're in the lovely city of Inglewood, my community. But guess what? I'm looking at this mural behind me. It's so beautiful. I want to give a huge shout out to Michael Rangel. You can find him on Instagram at mygo_img. Now, what's exciting is that being in my community, it gives me this sense of like support your local businesses, right? And thanks to Luxe Media Studio and our team, we're so excited to be here at All in Co-working of Inglewood, which on Instagram is at Inglewood Co-working. But today we have the lovely Janet Paredes, because I'm really bad with my Spanish, but I try to do the R.
You did it justice.
Thank you, thank you. I'm sorry. And she's a mortgage broker, general contractor for stager and designer. So when you go into those homes, when you're looking for those open houses and they're staged so beautiful, Janet does that. Okay. And then she's also a life insurance specialist like myself. So I'm really excited to talk about that. How did she get into the real estate and going into life insurance? Because I think it's very important in our communities that when you purchase a home, that you get a term insurance or a permanent insurance to keep your legacy, and also to have a trust to protect your legacy. Because a lot of our people in the community, you know, it's they don't have these resources out there, you know.
Right.
And so when I look at you, Miss Janet, and I see what you're doing, to me in our community nonprofit sector is called wraparound services. And that's amazing. So thank you, Janet, for
Thank
just
you.
gracing us on the
Thank
Luxe
you.
Media Studios with Purpose and Passion.
Thank you so much for having me here. Yes, I agree with you. It's definitely my thing is just helping people, especially people from the community, especially Spanish speakers who, I grew up with the mom that did not speak English and I had to translate everything for her.
Yes.
And I just wondered, what would she do? What would she have done if she didn't have her kids doing this for
Yes.
her? So I know a lot of families, they don't have someone who can do that for them. So I really grew up wanting to do that for others as well. And so my clients have basically become like, an extension of my family, my parents, my tios, my tias. And so my purpose is to keep them educated, keep them informed, and grow them and grow their wealth and protect it with the life insurance.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you about the Spanish part. You know, my mother is Mexican and Creole, right? So she understands Spanish. When she get a little few drinks in her, she likes speaking Spanish. She feels very comfortable. But other than that, she doesn't really like to speak Spanish because she feels people are gonna judge her, right? My pops is from Zacatecas, so he speaks Spanish. And he speaks good English, but he tells me like I speak better Spanish than I speak English. And so for me, that was my barrier. Like I understand enough Spanish. So when I was running for mayor of Inglewood last year,
Wow.
it was kind of hard because I was literally saying to my community members that spoke Spanish, yo soy Reina Carrillo, alcorando alcaldesa de Inglewood. And they're like, you really running literally? And I'm like, yes, because I didn't know no other way to say it.
Oh my God. Comprendo.
Yes, but they were like, poor thing. It's all right. We're gonna vote for you. You know what I mean? Because you're
Oh,
trying. You're
of course,
trying.
of course.
And so going back, I want you to take our viewers through memory lane about like, where were your parents born, and raised, and where did you grow up? And how was your childhood?
Okay. Well, I mean, I grew up a few. I grew up in Downey, California. From my parents were my father was Peruvian and from Arequipa, and my mother he was a doctor. Came over here, finished his degree and his MD, and very opened up his own private clinic in Huntington Park and in Pico Rivera. So he was very successful. I got to watch him and really learn entrepreneurship, right?
Nice.
And he helped my mom open up her it was a beauty salon, and she ran it. I mean, she was the owner, and just, like I watched him, I watched her. So I never saw any them having to go to work. They chose to go, to their offices. And so she was also very successful, also in Maywood. And I got to help both of them. I got to work with both of them. I got to see their customer service skills, their how loyal their patients and their clients were because of the way they were treated. So it was really nice growing up watching that. And I just knew when I graduated, because it was not a choice about going to a university. It was, you have to go to one, So I ended up graduating from UCLA, and in psychology. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. But then I worked real estate and did his property management for 5 years. So I got to learn so much from him. It was just amazing to have that time with him, and see him not only with his patients, but as his tenants, his, as a landlord, as an owner, as a boss, as just everything. I mean, my dad meant the world to us. And so, he passed away a year and a half ago.
My condolences.
Thank you. But he left us with so much. He left us with so much knowledge, and so luckily because of him, I got into real estate. I wanted to learn how did he do it. And he would always say, I'm not going to leave you anything, so you better work. So I had to work, and yeah, I followed after his footsteps. And with my mom as well, she taught me, customer service.
Where was mom's from?
My mom is Mexican.
Okay. What part? What part?
My mom is from DF. My mom is from DF, and she moved to Tijuana, and she actually, as soon as she came, she went to the doctor, and my dad was her doctor. Yeah. So she met him. Yeah. She met him taking my grandma to see him, and my grandma loved him. It was, her doctor.
That's
and
awesome.
He asked my grandma if he can date my mom. So, it just happened.
Wow. But that's definitely like a for me, a fairy tale, right? Like, think about it. A doctor,
Yeah.
and you're there with your mom, and then you start to date the doctor, and now you're married and you have a family. Like, that's awesome. To me, that's a success story, to be honest with you,
It really is. I mean, at the end of the day, they did end up not being together, but just the fact that he was a presence in our lives, he was that role model. He was still there, and he always stressed education for us. He always stressed, like, be professional, carry yourself. People are going to look at you, people are going to judge you, people are going to try to take from you. Like, always educate yourself, and that way protect yourself.
Wow. So then, when you were growing up as a child, how the question they always ask us, like in junior high or elementary or high school, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, what was your thing at the time, as a youth? Like, what did you want to be?
I always wanted to be a doctor. I would always say I want to be a doctor, because his presence was so, felt, and he really wanted me to be a doctor, to the point that I felt I failed him when I studied psychology, because he was disappointed that I was pre-med, and then I just dropped out from that program. But I still finished with my bachelor's, and then went on to get my master's. But he wasn't happy about it. He was disappointed.
He wanted you to. Yeah, most of our parents are like that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really into college. Oh my God, I was not a great student at all. I wasn't a great college student either, until I think later on, when I was getting my associate's degree at LA Southwest College, and it was like the ending in, like, like my mid-20s, where I was like, okay, I need to get it together. So I got my, high school diploma and my AE degree for my mom, for my parents, to make them proud. But when I walked that stage at Cal State Dominguez for that bachelor's, it was for Raina. But it took that long for me to say, I embrace college. It took that long. Oh my gosh. And, and then I have 5 kids now. So one day, I always say you're never too old to accomplish a goal. But I know once my 4-year-old twins get a little bit bigger, you know what I mean? I want to go back to USC and get a master's program. For there's a word for it. I can't even think of it, but I want to go back to school to
Uh-huh.
get that master's. And then when
And
I'm
you could
done
do
with
it.
that, get the PhD so they can call me Dr. Raina just because.
Right, right. Why
Just
not?
because. Yeah, just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
And but it's a beautiful thing. So you wanted to be a doctor, you didn't. So how old did you get married, or did you get married and have kids, or like, you know?
No, I didn't. I actually, I always, it was never something I dreamt about,
Yeah.
and I always thought I would be single. It's really weird, but I met my fiance like 14 years ago, and we've been
Nice.
engaged for probably about 9, 10 years already.
Yes.
And we're very happy. We own property together. We travel together.
Yes.
We're partners in our businesses together, but we just haven't gotten. I think we'd always say like we're a little busy, or I have to lose a little weight. I have to do this. We're always like, it's one thing or other. And then we
Yeah.
were gonna be serious about it, and COVID hit, and we're like, okay, maybe we should do it right now. It's pretty,
Yeah.
via Zoom or something. And our family was against
Yeah,
that.
because they want to see. Yeah, they want, yeah, especially
Like,
the
we're the
Latino
best-
families. You know, they want to see a
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, even and you know what? And I always tell people, when like, I mean, obviously back in the days, what I got married at, ooh, 16 years ago, I think.
Wow.
And at that time in that era, right?
Uh-huh.
um, it was. I remember my husband asking me, like once he proposed to me, he was like, or no, he didn't propose yet. He asked me, he was all like, do you want a big Catholic wedding and a small ring, or do you want the big ring and a small wedding?
Uh-huh.
So I have a huge family. So I was like, you know what? You can give me a small ring and I'll have the big Catholic
Oh
wedding.
my gosh.
And I did. Like, I had the big dress for the
Uh-huh.
church, and I had the tight little J-Lo
Yeah.
dress for the reception. And I enjoyed it. But if, when I think about it now in this era, like, it's different. It's like, well, just have a small wedding. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just have the people that really are important in your life, because I had more than 250 guests.
Oh my gosh.
Some of them I don't
Yeah.
even talk to. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
if you can just, when you guys are ready, have that small wedding at
Yes.
the beach.
We were actually
You
just
know what I
talking
mean?
about that. We decided on like a destination wedding.
Yes, that
And
would be
so,
beautiful.
people are always asking what day, and I'm like, you know what? We're gonna just go
August.
and book it and make it happen. Like, we can do that. I'm
Yeah.
like, so I'm not stressed out about the details,
yes,
because
yes.
someone at the hotel or the event place
They
can
take
do
care
it.
of it. Yeah, they
care
take care of everything. You just show
Yes.
up.
And I'm not picky. Like, I one thing I love is flowers. So I'm like, as long as there's flowers, like
Mm.
everything else is extra,
Oh my
and
gosh.
we're there, everything's gonna look beautiful. So
Oh my goodness.
it's just one moment in time, and it's
Yeah.
very important. But we just have our priorities kind of like a little bit more.
Yeah, no,
We
I
have
hear
to do
you.
this. We have big families too.
Yeah.
So we were always like, gosh, who are we gonna invite? Man, that's
The
a lot
whole
of
world.
people. Yeah. So now we're like, you know what, just a destination wedding with our
Yeah.
close family, and then maybe some friends, maybe,
Yeah. Let them pay
but-
for the trip. That's how you're gonna distinguish who's really down
Yeah.
for you. It's like,
Who's gonna- are you going or
well,
not?
Yeah, huh? Are you going or not?
Yeah.
So let's get into talking about being a mortgage broker. Like, tell the viewers a little bit about that.
So I got into real estate, or I was washing my car one day. I really needed to work, and I see the sign that says, loan officer wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in and I asked if they were hiring. They said, yeah, if you have clients who want to refinance, come back. So the next day I went back with like 5 different clients. So they were really impressed, because they said no one really does that. And I'm like,
yeah.
really? So I made more that month than I had the whole 2 years previous to that. So I said, this is for me. Like, real estate is for me. And I've been in mortgage financing for 20 years now. I absolutely love it. I branched off after 3 years. I decided to open up my own place. And so that actually has led to, now my team growing. But it didn't come easily. It's been, so in 2005, 5 is when I started my own entrepreneurship journey.
Yes.
So that's 15, 16, 18 years now.
Mhm.
And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of what not to do, a lot of who not to trust, who to
Yes.
trust, who to work with, and to put everything in writing.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh goodness, you ain't never lied about that.
Yeah.
That is an important nugget.
Yeah.
That's an important nugget.
It's sad. You think like people's word is
It's not bond.
no, it doesn't.
It's so breakable.
It's so breakable. People will like break it for nothing.
Yes.
And so that's a tough lessons I've learned. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but we said this. And no, did we?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. And it's like
wow.
wow. So just like I've really grown as I guess as a boss, as a,
Yes.
and I've had to learn like through tough lessons. But
Mhm.
God's always there protecting, right?
Yes, yes.
So sometimes we might not understand why things happen, but through it all, there's always a blessing in the back. It's always a blessing in disguise. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the good and the bad.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I wanted also to touch up on the general contractor because I remember you shared the story at the women's event about how people kind of discouraged you to do it because you were a woman. Oh, please share that story.
So, growing up helping my dad with his properties, I would work with the contractors and I was fascinated by it. So I said I told myself, I'm going to get my contractor's license one day. And the day I went to sign up for the school, it was a few guys at the school and they saw me. They said, this isn't the right field for you. This is mostly male dominated field. And I was like, well, I'm already in a male dominated field. I do real estate. That's mostly men, at that time.
Yes.
And so they basically discouraged me, said, you know what, we'll call you. Which I was, it's supposed to be like open registration. So I was a little taken aback and I was like, okay. I ended up leaving, not signing up and went back to the office. And that's where Robert, my fiance, asked me like, where's your stuff? Like, what, how was it? Did you sign up? When do your classes start? And I was like, no, I'm not doing it after all. And he's like, why?
What?
Yeah, it gets me emotional because when someone makes you feel that little, and you doubt yourself, right? You doubt your own powers. You doubt like, wow, maybe they're right. Maybe this isn't the field for me. Like, what am I going to do? Like a manicure and doing the roof, like messing up. So it kind of makes you doubt yourself. And then, so Robert's like, absolutely not. Like they're crazy. Give me the info. And he went and he took off. And like an hour later, he came back with all the study material, all the test material. Wow. He's like, I signed you up, get to studying. And that was the moment that I'm like, oh my God, he believes in me. Yes. He believed in me. You need that. You need people who believe in you more than you believe in yourself sometimes, right? Because our limiting beliefs get us to think like, I'm not capable of doing this. Or I'm not worthy or whatever it may be. Yes. So you do need a strong group of people around you who are going to lift you when you're down. And that moment I needed that because I probably never would have gone back to the school. So when I went, I ended up, they actually, also what they did was they gave me the wrong study material. When it was time to get my course, they gave me wrong. So I took like the electrical and I'm a specialist in like plumbing and electrical because they gave me the wrong material. Yes. So I think they were just sabotaging. I'm not sure.
That could be a possibility, right? Because it's like, how do you give me the wrong documents, right?
When I took the material back to them because I said nothing that was on the test was here. Like nothing from here was on the test. Like, and they're like, "Oh my God, we gave you the wrong stuff." But they admitted they gave me the wrong material. But I don't know if they did it on purpose. It just seems kind of weird that it happened twice. Oh, so wow. I was like, okay. So I had to go to a different school just to get the study material. And that's what I studied to pass. And I passed right away. Wow, so
that's amazing.
But it was like, obstacles like that happen that are discouraging in life. And you just have to pick yourself up and be like, I got to keep going.
Well, the blessing is that you didn't give up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And your fiance was able to kind of like push you and motivate you to do it. And so let's talk about the staging and designing. You know, I love going to open houses, you know,
Yes.
all the time.
All the time. Are you, do you
with
want to buy?
with my kids. They're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, and the kids automatically say, "Oh, mommy's window shopping."
Oh no, we gotta shop. We gotta buy something. Yeah, no, open houses are fun. And what we do as so our company is Luna Staging and Design.
Okay.
And I've been doing staging about 10 years. I used to stage my own homes only because I wasn't confident again
Yes.
of the work I was doing if it was good enough for other people.
Yes.
So I would do our staging and people would always come in and want to buy all the furniture, want to get everything. So I'm like,
Yes.
I guess it's not bad, right? And eventually we opened up JP Home Staging and Furniture Brokers, and then now it's Luna Staging and Designs. And I mean, it's just gorgeous pieces of furniture. You know, like a table excites me. You know, depending on like the wood finish, the color, so there's so many things about furniture, and it really is important to have a space and make it work for you, but bring like this energy when people walk in that you want to stay and sit down and you can visualize yourself there.
Yes.
So you make an offer and buy the house, you know?
And so when you buy, like if somebody wants to buy a house and they like the furniture in it, could they buy the furniture in it too?
From us, yes. Most stagers
Awesome.
won't do that, but from us, yes, because we're
That's
furniture
awesome.
brokers.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that is so awesome to know.
So for any realtors out there, if you want to tell your clients as well,
Yes.
like your who are selling, if they want to stage, usually staged homes sell for more.
Yes, of course.
At the list price or more than a vacant house.
Yeah.
So it is important to give people, because a lot of people they can't walk into a room and visualize like where's the bed go or where's the best place for this dresser. But if as a stager we do that for them, it's very easy for them to just come in and be like,
And be
oh,
like, I want all of this.
Yeah.
Or I already have a living room set, but I want that whole bedroom set. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a fun part. That's the creative. You know, I work with colors and fabrics, and so that's the fun part of my life.
So with the general contractor, so if somebody needed you to turn a garage into kind of like a single apartment, could you do that?
Yeah. Like an ADU, so the accessory dwelling unit, we do those as well. And that's really common right now because a lot of people, they need the extra rent.
Yes.
So we're able to do that.
Yeah.
We're able to do kitchens, bathrooms. I mean, everything. Stucco. We're doing a stucco job right now. We just renovated a house in 3 weeks, did 2 kitchens, bathrooms. So it's fun. You know, the construction part is the fun part. The staging is our finish.
Yes, definitely. And then so I like to talk about the life insurance part because I know, like, for example, a person can buy a home for like $500,000, right? And then they can get, and it's for 30 years, right? It's a home for 30 years. And then they can get a 30-year term insurance for $500,000.
Right.
So if something happens to them, they can have the house paid off.
Yeah.
So as a mortgage broker, how did you get into the life insurance industry?
It's something I looked into since 2009. And I actually got recruited by, I think it was back then, I think it was PHP.
Okay.
I think it was the same company, but I took my test and they were fairly new. So they were starting out.
Yes.
And because of that, I ended up not following, not completing the application or my fingerprints. I just didn't have the guidance back then. So I stopped. The market had shifted. It was bad, and real estate was slow. And so I just ended up focusing on, let's keep our business, the mortgage, the real estate going. And so that's what I did. Now, last June, I'm having dinner with Robert and his buddy from the gym, and he's talking about life insurance. And I was like, oh, I wanted to do that. In 2009, I got my license. He's like, why don't you do it? And I'm like, well, who do you work with? He said, the same company. And I was like, really? I'm like, well, I could get my license. And he's like, I'll help you. And within a week, we were licensed. Like we studied, we took the test, and we were licensed. And so now exactly how you said it, I deal with a lot of people, a lot of borrowers who are husband and wife maybe, where the husband is the sole breadwinner and
Yes.
the wife is, she's staying home. She's like, taking care of the household duties and stuff. But, I always ask if something were to happen to him, what would you do? And
Yes.
most of the time they say, I probably have to move into my sister's garage. And I'm
Yeah.
like, absolutely not. Like, not on my watch. You're not going to do that. Like, you
Yes.
have to buy insurance. You have to
Yes.
protect your family in case
Yes,
anything
I
happened.
agree. I agree. I
So,
like that. I like that. And it's funny because I said maybe in 6 months or maybe next year I'll get into real estate,
mhm,
because I know there's a lot of people that can't hold on to their homes in
mhm,
Inglewood, the short sale kind of
yeah,
thing, in the future when the foreclosures start hitting.
yeah.
I want to be able to help people get out of the situation because I know in 2009, if I'm correct, I lost everything. You know
Oh,
what I mean? My
like
credit
many.
shot it
Hmm.
out. I lost my Marina Del Rey condo. I lost my 3 properties in LA that were
Oh,
all Section 8. You know what I
oh,
mean? So I lost everything. And people were committing suicide back then,
I
you
know.
know?
I did. I
And a
lost a
part of
friend
me,
too.
and when I reflect back, like, I felt like I wanted to die inside because I'm like, I work so hard to get
Yeah.
what I want so I can have a better future, right? And it didn't happen that way.
Hmm.
So when it didn't happen that way, I think when you're born poor and you try to build and you lose it all, there's no sense of trying to commit suicide because it's like how it is to go back
Yeah.
to getting a job or getting
Yeah.
GR or food stamps or welfare or unemployment to try to figure yourself out. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I'm still trying to rebuild myself to one day. Now I'm considered a first time home buyer.
Hmm.
So one
Hmm.
day I want to purchase a home when I'm financially ready to
Hmm.
commit to something like that. Because, purchasing a house is
Hmm.
a,
Of
a
course.
huge commitment. And I like the fact that, like I said, I want to eventually get to that industry to help my community and represent Inglewood, refinance people, things of that nature,
Hmm.
just try to help people save their homes.
Hmm.
And I think it's important. And the reason why, like right now, as a person that's, a life insurance agent for World Financial Group, I already was thinking this year, like at the time before in the past, I've been in the industry for like 10 years,
Hmm.
but I've always been intimidated by realtors. Always.
Really?
I don't know why, but this year
They're
I'm
so
like, no, I'm
nice.
gonna grow some huevos and go for and go for those realtors because you guys get a paper, and in that paper, when you're working with your clients, it asks you, do you have life insurance?
Oh.
And most of the time in those forms, you know,
Uh-huh.
right? So if you're a realtor, most of the time you're not going to help the person with life insurance because you're just, you're selling the home and you're closing
Hmm.
business and that's it.
Hmm.
But now for me looking at you, it's a wraparound services
It definitely
because
is.
now you have the person purchasing the home. Now you're saying,
Hmm.
look, I want to protect you.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
I
And it's so important.
It is. I agree. You have to, I got a lot of, I still get a lot of heat for like, why are you changing now to life insurance? And I said, I'm not
No,
changing.
I'm
I'm
adding
adding
I'm
a lot
adding a
of, there's,
resource for
there's
my
a lot of
clients.
haters. There's a lot of haters. There's a lot of heat coming from, competitors who are saying she must be struggling. She must be doing bad.
No.
And because she's looking for other, avenues. And I said, it's called diversification
Yeah.
and it's called multiple streams of
Of
income,
income,
which most millionaires,
exactly.
that's the way they become
Yes, they
millionaires. And most
do.
millionaires have at least 7 streams of income. So
Yes.
if you're just on one, I mean, I'm not knocking loans. I love loans. I
Yes,
love
yes,
real
yes.
estate, but I also love construction. I love staging and I love life insurance.
Yes.
And you can do it all. And you mentioned earlier to touch on how you felt because you said when you come from like being poor, not having money,
Yes.
to go back there, you kind of already understood that. But you've also already been up here and you know how
Yes.
to get there. So
Yes.
this time around, the first time might be the difficult part. You already did it and
Yes.
accomplished it. So now you can do it again,
Yes.
you can accomplish
Yeah.
it
I
again.
want to. I want to because I always tell people when they're homeowners that rent property, Section 8 is like the best
Hmm.
because you're guaranteed a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Guaranteed a paycheck.
Hmm.
And then sometimes, depending on the situation, you can charge the renter
Yeah.
extra money because
Yeah.
sometimes they'll say, I have a voucher for this and that. but my grandmother, she's sick now. I have to be the provider for her. So even though
Mhm.
in the voucher is not the grandmother, but it's like you understand as a human how it is to
Yeah.
take care of your loved ones. And so it's like, okay, it's $500 extra. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like this is not what the voucher says, and they pay the difference.
Yeah.
And but it's guaranteed money, and I can't wait to get to that place because I want to be able to also fund my nonprofit through
Oh,
through through real estate. You know what I
yeah.
mean? To be
Yeah.
able to write that check to my nonprofit so I can help my community more, because now my next project is
Mhm.
in April,
Oh,
and it's autism awareness and a resource fair. So
okay.
my son Franco, he's 4 years old, and he's a twin, and so it I always tell people it's different things happen to different children when it comes to different things. So being a first time mom of a child that has autism and not having a tribe,
Mhm.
I felt alone. And I
Definitely.
don't want no woman to ever feel
Yeah.
alone. So for me, this is very
Personal.
personal and
Yeah.
passion, right? And a purpose, my son, and helping other mothers. And so I'm excited about having this, and that's why I
Yeah.
say if I can work hard and fund my nonprofit with grant writers and doing events, I can do more for my
Mhm.
community, and that's my passion,
Yeah.
helping people.
Yeah.
And so talking about passion, what is your passion?
My passion, gosh, what do I do? My passion is actually like spending time with family. I really
Yes.
love I love being with my fiance. We have four dogs actually.
Yes.
I love them so much. I was never a dog person, but
Yes.
I don't have kids, so
Yes.
my love had to turn, somewhere. And
Yes.
my mom, she is 77 years old
Uh-huh.
and she's currently has Alzheimer's,
Yes.
but she's just I my passion right now is finding not a cure, because obviously that would be very naive,
Yeah.
but finding a way to delay and just slow down the progression of
Yes.
her disease. And so we've been battling 5 years,
Mhm.
where the doctor said, oh, it could be a year or two. And it's been actually going on year six, and she looks amazing. You
Yes.
see her and she's dancing around. Her energy is so high. I have her on like organic food, natural stuff. I give
Yes.
her so many supplements and vitamins. I have her on celery juice. Anything I can do, to really. So I think my passion really is like getting in tune with how the body works, her
Yes.
brain, because this is also genetic, and
Mhm.
it's hereditary.
Yeah.
And so my father also had it. So just both of them having that, I know it's the odds are, not in our favor.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to figure out what we can do so it doesn't get triggered in myself or my sisters or my brother.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
before we, close our show off, I wanted to see if you have anything for 2023, meaning like do you have any goals, like a goal that you want to share with the viewers on purpose and
Mhm.
passion?
Um, for us, our goals now are a lot about having helping others
Yes.
elevate, helping others grow themselves. It's not really material stuff. It's
Mhm.
not, I feel like we've accomplished a lot and we're very proud of it, but
Yes.
we have to still stay humble and just
Mhm.
remember that we also grew up not having much.
Yes.
So don't get into that rat trap where you have to get more and have
Yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
anything, be grateful for what we have and
Yes.
really just help others achieve it as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's kind of our goal this
I
year
love
is
that, Janet.
it's like self-growth and
Mhm.
personal development.
Awesome. Well, how can the viewers find you on social media, on your website,
Yeah.
if they want to connect with you?
They can go to Janet the Mortgagini at IG on my IG or Janet Paredes on Facebook. And I'm located at IET Capital in the city of Downey. My number is 562-319-9111 if they need help with
Awesome.
anything. Okay.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for gracing purpose and passion with Lux Media. All right then.
Thank
Well,
you.
I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys were inspired. I hope you guys was educated. Janet taught us, about awareness as well in her business. Until then, see you next time. Bye.
Glutathione is a big word. It's the body's own master antioxidant. It's a scavenger for free radical, bacteria, and viruses. There are no products in the market with the ingredient NASET. NASET increases the production of glutathione that's in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system, elevate sense of well-being, support muscle strength and endurance, cognitive function, and liver support. It helps with increased energy and blood sugar regulation. Get your bottle of GSH Plus from www.salvationnutra.com.